Me, I'm in my pajamas and I don't have any makeup on. It's pretty late, but I sort of promised that I would do this video before the weekend is up. And if I don't do it now, I'm not likely to get it done for at least another week or two. So I'm going to try to get it done now. And I hope that I can be cohesive and coherent with this video that I'm doing. Because I'm going to have to kind of go through a document that I have here. And it's kind of lengthy and it might be a little hard to kind of get to the parts that I want to get to, but I'm going to try to make this happen. So what this video, I am going to tell you what happened. So, I was with my ex-husband for, my cat's trying to scratch on the little chair. Quit it, quit it, quit, quit. For a very, very, very long time. Never really had a good marriage. It was always pretty miserable. Had some good moments in our marriage, some good times, but for the most part, it was kind of miserable. And I was raised in abuse, sadly, and so a lot of what I went through with my ex-husband, I recognized from my childhood. So I just thought it was normal. And that's my dog drinking very loudly. He has to wait till I'm on here before he decides he wants to drink. But so I just thought it was normal. So for many, many, many years, I just suffered through it and thought, well, this is as good as it gets. This is kind of what, marriage is like. And it wasn't until I was a few years ago that I kind of realized, I don't think this is normal. And I started doing some research. And, you just kind of start with, why does my husband do this? Why does, and then, my husband does this, and find out if anyone else experiences that. And as I started doing some researching, I kind of settled upon this concept of covert narcissism. And I started reading about covert narcissism. And okay, Kat, I kind of need to get to my computer here. And so I found this article from okay, listen, you got to go, buddy. I can't move my computer if he's on my lap. So I found this article from Psychology Today, and it has like 50 different traits of a covert narcissist. And obviously not everybody's going to have all those traits, but as I was going through those traits, I hit on, I don't know how many, let's see that, of the 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28, about 28 of the 50 is what I identified, things that my ex-husband regularly engaged in, I guess you would say. And so, being the naive person I was, just now getting to know this topic at all, and I thought, well, I'll tell him about this, I'll tell him what I found, and, recognizing that it could be hurtful to hear this, but I also thought it would be a turning point in our marriage. We finally kind of have an idea of why our marriage sucks so bad. And, so I shared it with him and shared this art. Well, he asked, excuse me, sorry. He asked me to share this article with him. And me being naive and stupid like I was, I shared the article with him thinking, oh, he cares enough to read the article. And so I shared the article with him. And when I shared the article with him, leave me alone, Dakota. Leave me alone. And when I shared the article with him, he sat down at the computer for like 2 hours. And he was typing on the computer for like 2 hours. And I thought, wow, what's he doing over there? And I didn't think about it. I was just like, he's going to do whatever he's going to do. Well, what he spent the next 2 hours doing was going through every point of this article that I identified as, as being a trait that he has, and writing refutation, is that the right word? Refuting every single thing. And what I'm really upset about is at the end, at the end of refuting this, he also went and tried to look up some kind of thing that I might have. And this part is no longer, oh my gosh, my animals they sleep until I get on here. At the end of this, he also started searching for something, some sort of ism that I must have. And he wrote down, well, I've been looking at your traits and I found that you are this. And I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you were suffering from that. And it was some illness that I'd never even heard of before. And it's not on, I don't know what happened to that. I wish I could find it because I'd like to read that to you, but I don't have it, unfortunately. I looked and looked and looked, and I thought he sent it to me in an email, and maybe he deleted it and somehow it got deleted on my end. I don't know. But let me read this to you. So the Psychology Today, there's like 50 different traits. I won't read you all 50. He hit on like 28 or something of them. I just counted them. So the very first one, passive aggressive. The next one, criticizes and judges from the sidelines. Is condescending and superior. Is threatened by honesty and directness. Swings between idealizing and devaluing himself, herself, and others, denies and dismisses others' feelings, cultivates public image sharply different from his or her private behavior, which that's a big one, identifies as a victim. Now, I didn't mark that on him, but I probably could have, but I didn't specifically mark that on him. Is cynical and sarcastic, makes unreasonable demands. I didn't mark that on his. Anyway, there's like 50 of them. I won't go through all of them. But I will read to you some of his responses that he spent 2 hours crafting. So with the pass, go away, Dakota. He wants my attention. He's like kids. He's like a kid. I'm on there, and he can't stand that I'm paying attention to somebody else. So anyway, passive aggressive. Yes, this is his response. Yes, I agree. It's a personality flaw that I've tried most of my life to overcome. End of sentence. Not that, oh, I will try harder, or, maybe we can get some therapy for that, but I've tried to overcome it. So the next one, criticizes and judges from the sidelines. He says, yes, and so do you. And not surprisingly, so do both of our boys. Okay. And then here's a big one, is condescending and superior. He says, to whom am I condescending and superior? Genuinely curious, as I do not feel superior, I feel average. I'll hit on a couple here that for the cynical and sarcastic. He says, I am not cynical, I am sarcastic, and so are you. However, the definition of cynical is believing that people are motivated purely by self-interest, distrustful of human sincerity or integrity. So let's go back if I can find it. One that he put before he said he wasn't cynical. He says, number 6. Number 6 is denies and dismisses others' feelings. He writes, I don't deny others' feelings. I don't understand them sometimes, and yes, if someone isn't willing to take the time to explain their feelings, I will doubt that they are real, but instead are a lie for a purpose of attacking me, and I will dismiss them as falsehoods invented for the sake of argument. Now, doesn't that, the definition of cynical is believing that people are motivated purely by self-interest, distrustful of human sincerity or integrity. So he just said he's cynical, but then he says he's not cynical. Another one, just to, I don't think you want me to read through all of these, but one of the last ones that he wrote, let's see if I can find it, because it was perplexing to me. I didn't make it all the way through this list the first time because I was just so disgusted that I couldn't read all of it. But let's see. Number 40 is lacks emotional empathy. Okay, so his answer for lacking emotional empathy. I cannot feel exactly what you feel, especially when I cannot understand how you are feeling a certain emotion because of my actions that I did not intend to cause a negative reaction. Okay, acknowledging that it did cause a negative emotion that I did not intend feels like a falsehood because it is so incomprehensible that it could have caused it, that I am brought to the point of incredulity. It is difficult for me to be apologetic or feel sympathy in those circumstances because it seems as if the offense is eagerly sought after, if not invented out of a slight possibility that I might have been trying to be offensive, as if everything I say is examined for the purpose of teasing out the hidden meaning that rarely exists, and when it does, it is a joke. Because apologizing for that is a betrayal of self. It is lying to myself first, telling myself that I intended to offend, then lying to you by telling you the same. I don't know if you understood any of that. I had a hard time understanding it. But once again, he was answering lacks emotional empathy. So he basically says, I don't have emotional empathy. He basically said he doesn't have emotional empathy because, if somebody's negative emotion is about him, then it's incomprehensible that they should have a negative emotion about him because he never meant to be negative or to hurt you or anyway. So this is how the whole thing goes. And then, like I said, after he spent all this time doing this, he then researched what kind of some sort of ism that he thinks I have. And told me that, he's so sorry. He didn't know I was suffering from this ism. I mean, like I said, there are quite a few here, and he refuted all of them. He took none of them seriously. Some of them he was like, oh, I need, he did say, I don't understand this. I need you to explain. I don't understand this. I need you to explain. He wasn't interested in me explaining anything. He wasn't interested in discussing any of this. That's why he wrote all of this out, and he sent it to me. And then it was never like, okay, let's sit down and talk about this. We really need to hash this out. There's never anything like that because he just wanted to refute everything. Oh, here's one. Number 21 is denies his own anger. He says, I do not deny my own anger. I deny it when you claim it is directed at you or others when it is not. I deny that I am always angry, which is what you have often claimed, or you accuse me of being angry when I am simply exhausted or not feeling well. He must have been not feeling well all the time. Currently, what angers me the most is that you know that I am losing my hearing and you refuse to acknowledge it in any way. Well, that was never anything that he ever brought up to me. I'm just now reading that. I never really read that. Because yes, there was acknowledgement. I knew he was losing his hearing, but he never at any time said, it really frustrates me that that I'm losing my hearing and you don't feel. It was never a discussion. He never discussed with me that he expected me to feel a certain way about him losing his hearing. So that's kind of new to me. You refuse to acknowledge in any way that I am losing my hearing. You never brought it up to me that it was something you wanted me to acknowledge. Anyway, so you can't tell a narcissist that they're a narcissist because this is the sort of thing they'll do. They will deny it. They will flip it around on you. They will, accuse you of being a narcissist. They will never, ever, ever sit down and be like, wow, I might be a narcissist. This is crazy. We need to examine this. And admittedly, that would be a hard thing to hear, right? It would be a hard thing to hear. But if you've got a crappy marriage and you're wanting to save your marriage and your spouse brings this to you, maybe it's time to sit down. Or you can even be like, you know what? If I'm a narcissist, okay, why don't we each go to therapy and talk to a therapist and just see, But, they don't want to do anything. They don't want to fix anything. They just want to refute it. They just want to flip it around on you. There's one time in here where he says that I had said that I never want to talk about my problems. Well, here's the deal. This is what a narcissist does. They don't ever tell you that they're upset with you. They don't ever bring to light any kind of grievance that they have with you, ever. until you have a grievance with them. When you have a problem with them, and then all of a sudden they bring all of this stuff that they've been mad at you for the last 2 months, and then they want to talk about that at that time. And so this is how it usually goes, is I have a grievance. I had a grievance with my ex-husband. I'd bring it up. He'd start throwing up all this stuff that he's been mad about for the last 2 months that I never knew about. And then me, I would say, no, we're talking about you right now, because you never brought that up to me when it was happening. So right now we're talking about you. Well, he didn't want to talk about him, like, ever. And so now then he throws up at me, oh, well, you don't ever want to address the problems that you have, and you don't ever want to, fix the problems that you have. I'm like, I'm happy to fix the problems I have, but when you have a problem with me, you need to bring it up to me in the moment. Don't hold on to it and write it down in a book, which, by the way, my ex-husband did, and I didn't know that. He was writing down things in a book, and then he would, excuse me, wait until we'd get in an argument, then he'd go get the book, and he'd pull out things from the book that he was mad at me about that I never knew about because he never bothered to tell me until I'm mad at him. So, I mean, it's just, I'm glad it's over. I hate it for anybody who's still in that situation themselves. And I hope that I've been somewhat clear with what I experienced, so that you can recognize it if you're experiencing it. If you think you might be married to, or the daughter of, or the son of, or, girlfriend, boyfriend of a narcissist, don't go there telling them. Don't go there thinking that you're going to be able to fix it by telling them that, because they're not going to listen. They don't care. They don't want to change. They don't want things to get better. They just want you to allow them to behave however they want to, and shut your mouth and let it happen. That's what they want. I always thought it was so funny that my ex would be like, oh, well, we don't ever communicate. Maybe that's because every time we sit down to talk about things, if I have a problem with you, you get mad and run off. Or you got to start a big, huge fight and start, calling names and everything. You don't want to talk about things. You just want to, go, oh, sorry. I'm getting back in that moment, and I've been out of it for a few years, and it's frustrating thinking about what I lived with for so long. And I hope you're not living with that. And I'm glad I'm out of it. But I just wanted to, I found this recently, and I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention, and so that you can see, it's a bad idea. Don't do it. Don't ever tell anyone that you think is a narcissist that they're a narcissist. It will never turn out good for you, ever. And so, what is your experience? Have you ever tried to do that? I'm sure you've had a very similar experience. If so, if not, then I hope you never do, because it's living with a narcissist is an absolute hell, an absolute hell. At least the overt ones are usually easier to spot, and usually they're a little more aggressive, where the covert ones, it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts over a long period of time. So anyway, like I said, I hope I was clear in here, and I'm sorry I don't look so good today, but I didn't put on makeup. It's Saturday. I didn't expect to see any people today, so I look like garbage, but I wanted to get this done because I said I would. And let me know your experiences below in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. And if you would be so kind, do all the YouTube-y things, the like, subscribe, and share, and if you think this will help other people. And if you need clarity, ask your questions. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. So hope you all are doing good. Hope you all are getting ready to, I know a lot of people are probably getting ready to travel. I'm getting ready to travel. So blessings for a safe travel for all of you, and a wonderful holiday season. So take care, God bless, and until the next time, see you later.